Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and this is your big 90 minutes, your Sunday night addiction, your big opportunity to keep practicing there. Try not to suck. We're here at Painting with Menoth John, and I am trying to fool the camera. I'm using all of my follow the facial technologies here to see if we can't all just have some fun here on a Sunday night. It's cutting off the top of my head, co-host. Oh, and then it zoomed in. This is very exciting. What will the camera decide to do next? Ladies and gentlemen, I am here, and with me, of course, is the co-host with the mo-host, Mr. John Spencer.
Heyo.
Yes, it is fantastic to have you here, and the air conditioning must be on at your place right now, John.
Yeah, can you tell?
I can tell, but that's okay. You know, we're going to figure this headphone thing out sometime between now and next show, and it'll be fantastic.
It's just loud air conditioning. What can I do?
So here's what I don't like about the follow my face, is that apparently it changes position almost at whimsy, and it's got kind of this digital close-up, so people can't see me in as much HD as they would otherwise like to see, John.
That's true. That's true.
So I think I'm going to probably bring up the controls here. We're going to see if I can bring this up here and see. See, that's this one here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my right click. This is some, I'm upgraded here to Windows 10. So that's what I'm doing here is some Windows 10 tech is right clicking. And, there we go. Now it's zoomed back way too far. That's much better. Yeah, see, now they're getting all of their H's and their D's. All 1,080 of their P's. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is the Painting with Menoth John show. I kind of hate, yeah. You know, when you got to take a pee, you might as well take 1080 of them.
Or something like that.
I'm sitting here in the basement at Command Central here at Painting with Menoth John Entertainment Incorporated, and I'm having a shot of Kraken in the K glass from the Kraken series of shot glasses. John, what are you having this evening there in the Beemore?
Well, technically it's Glenburnie, so we call it the Burn.
The Burn. Ooh,
Burn.
What are you having in the Burn tonight?
I've got a shot of Kraken in the Menoth John shot glass, and I am following it up with a Force Blow, since it is still the only thing I can make with what's in my fridge.
Outstanding. You know, I was thinking about some Force Blows tonight, but I decided that with having to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to head out and have get on the plane and head to Reno, Nevada, I sure as hell ain't gonna have another one of those goddamn soul collectors. I'll tell you what.
Probably a good call.
Holy crap! I got drunk. Those are potent, folks. Make sure that you don't text and drive while drinking a soul collector. So, on behalf of everyone here at Painting with Menoth John, to everyone who has joined us in the chat room, Brushheads, we love you. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
Now, sometimes, John, when we have that initial shot to start the show, I kind of sip it a little bit. I just kind of let the flavors roll over my palate, much like I let my paints roll over my wet palate. And, but today I said I couldn't do it. I got to drink the whole thing. I just had to.
Well, that's one of the rules I was taught when I started drinking. They give it to you in a shot glass, you drink it like a shot.
There you go. I'm using it more like a snifter or perhaps a tumbler, if you will. But I'm going to have another one. So here's to not being able to get up in one piece tomorrow. So, John, we've had a lot of guests on recently, and we kind of committed to ourselves that we wanted to calm down the guest thing a little bit. So we're having a very just a kind of a you and me kind of show.
Yeah, well, we got guests. We've got my air conditioning, and then over the shoulder here, we've got RoboCop.
Yes. Well, thank you, RoboCop, for joining us. Thank you, RoboCop, for joining us tonight. I have a very special guest here in the basement as well. They'll be joining us here very shortly to talk about Discount Games Incorporated. So we'll bring him on in just a second. But, yeah, so just very briefly, for those of you who are new to the show, we talk for 90 minutes, shenanigans for the first 15. We're going to do a lot of question and answer tonight because I made the move to post on the Warmachine Hordes Painting Facebook site. So if you're not a member of that Facebook site, get over there. First, stop off at the Painting with Menoth John Facebook site and make sure you've joined there. Then go over to Warmachine Hordes Painting. And I posted on there. We got a lot of flippity bloops. So this is going to be very much a flippity bloopy kind of episode. And then we'll have a little word from our sponsor. Be sweet. Got some movies to talk about. Usually during the pre-ramble, we build a script as to kind of what we're going to talk about in each of the different segments. Couldn't be bothered, John.
Nope, we'll do it live.
Hell yeah, we're going to show you an unscripted version of this variety show we like to call Painting with Menoth John is all about. But before we get too far into the weeds here, John, we have to keep the lights on. The best way that we keep the lights on is down here. That's www.patreon.com/MenothJohn. I'm not going to sit here like PewDiePie and tell you to use your bro fingers to type on your bro board to get to however he gets you to make him $7 million a day or whatever the hell it is. Hey, Bindi Librarian is in the window. That's great. Hey, Belinda, glad you could make it. We have not done word from our sponsor yet. She's very excited for that tonight, by the way. So I'm not going to do it, but patreon.com/MenothJohn. I certainly appreciate all the support, helping to keep the lights on literally here at the house. And, go there. And we like the kind that jingles. We prefer the kind that folds. So get on over there. And then real quickly, now we'll go on over here. We have some sponsors, John. Were you aware of that?
I was aware of that.
Yes, as I'm sure you were, because you're a very highly valued member of the Painting with Menoth John entertainment staff. And tonight we have with us to talk about our other sponsors, Discount Games Incorporated, Entertainment Unplugged. Don't know if we mentioned that before. Entertainment Unplugged. We have Greenleaf Terrain for Canadian terrain of your choice. And then Games and Gears for all of your brushes and towels. And we'll get to that one in Flippity Bloops. And brush racks and all kinds of stuff. But in order to make you understand exactly how awesome all that stuff is, direct from Mexico, here's a luchador bottle opener for Painting with Menoth John. Hey, man, I'm a luchador bottle opener. And I'm telling you that when you need your bottle opener, I'm your man. Now, I come from the top rope. I keep it real. But when you need your bottle open like a beer, like a Southern Tier, I'm looking at you, Tadgo. I'm looking at you. Just because you have Southern Tier beer doesn't make you so special. There's lots of other things that make you special. You know what I mean? What happens in Tijuana stays in Tijuana, Tadgo. You know that. But when you need top-level discount games, you go right there and see Jay in Idaho Falls. What the hell's an Idaho Fall? Anyway, but you can go on the internet at www, his address is, .com, Discount Games Incorporated. Just search for it. It's not that eBay store. You don't want any part of that. That's a poser. And as a luchador, I don't like posers. Not even one little bit. Especially because most posers can't open a bottle. That's all you're going to hear with me. Now, if you need some terrain for your table, you just go ahead to Greenleaf Terrain, and that's even further away in Canada. Man, why don't you have any sponsors there from Mexico, man? Anyway, Games and Gears, they're not from Mexico, but they'll sell you a towel. And later on in the show, you're going to find out what that towel is for. And they'll also sell you a brush stand and some brushes because you can't paint without the brushes. You may be able to come off the top rope. Oh, but you will never, ever come from the top rope and get the greatest brushes like Games and Gears. Now, I could go on for hours like this, but I know that he has many flippity bloops, and we cannot stand in the way of progress here, even though I am a ninja luchador. So, on behalf of Painted with Men John and the Discount Games, the Greenleaf Terrain, and the Games and Gears, I leave this like I leave so many other places. Top rope. Well, there you go, folks. That's the first time we've had a luchador on the show, John.
It is the first time.
I really wish I had a bottle of beer so I could use luchador bottle opener. So Tadgo has mentioned that he challenges luchador bottle opener to a wrestling match at Warmachine Weekend. And let me see if he's up for it. Hey, are you up for a wrestling match over there at Warmachine Weekend? Oh yeah, man, I got it. I got takedown. Okay, there you go. So there he's definitely ready. He may want to challenge you off of the top rope. So, that's just kind of how he rolls. Why the hell is my basement so hot, John? Jesus Christ, it's like a sauna down here.
I don't know, man. Don't you live up in the frozen north?
Christ. I got the air conditioning's on. It's like 71 everywhere in the house. It feels like 95 in the basement. I don't know what the hell's going on. I can't stand it. Before John, we go ahead and do any kind of flippity bloops or anything like that, I'm going to switch it over here to the painting cam because I have some knowledge to break loose on the Brushheads.
Oh, dropping a knowledge bomb.
I am going to crack a knowledge egg on their collective asses right now. So here you can see the painting cam, which gets rare use these days. But I do want to. I got some of these, and I wanted to share this with the Brushheads. These are empty Master Series paint bottles from Reaper. They're Master Series, and when you open up that blister, you get a bottle, a nozzle, and I'm going to try and keep these in frame, and a cap. So what I've been doing here, John, recently I got myself a wet palette, and here it is. This is my wet palette, Stay Wet Handy palette from Masterson's, and I got criticized a lot on the show, John, for not using a wet palette, mostly by Tadgo.
Other people just mentioned occasionally,
but he's been very critical, and I wanted to appease Tadgo, so I went and bought one. And I've fallen just in love with it. I think it is amazing. You can mix colors really, really cool with it. You can, it keeps your paints moist and helps hydrate them. It's almost like Brondo for your paints. It doesn't have electrolytes. It's not what your plant craves, but it is what your paints crave. And so I'm going to show you here what I do. And I've kind of kicked it up a notch. I took the basic Master Series Reaper here. And what I found, John, is that the urethra of this particular bottle is too narrow. And we all know that a narrow urethra is no good for anybody. So I had to ream out my urethra with this thing here. And this is the high-tech part. This is a router bit. And I'm going to try and get it to focus, but it won't. Just because I want you all to understand it's never going to focus. But
right.
It's a round-tipped router for a Dremel, and I'm not hating Tadgo. I'm loving it. You turned me on to the truth, Reverend Tadgo. So what I do is I take the bottle tip here and I use my Dremel, and I actually push it straight up the urethra here and get it all the way till it'll come out the other side. And what that does is that reams it out and gets it thick, big enough so that it won't plug up quite so easily. And I really, when you use this bit with your Dremel to do this, I highly recommend using gloves because sometimes it'll just grab the tip and just let go. Don't try to stop it. Don't try to do anything. Just let go. It's already done its job. And then what I'll do is I kicked it up even another notch, and I got some 1/4-inch stainless steel ball bearings. Because it's all ball bearings these days, John. Have you seen Fletch?
Not in a long time.
Yeah, but you get the reference. So what I do is, and I'm going to actually do this on camera because this is thrilling television. This is the part where I add the ball bearing to the Reaper Master's bottle, and in doing so, create a shaking action. So I put only one. No, if you put two, you might have to sacrifice an eagle somewhere to it because that's just too much shaking. And by putting one in there, you've put exactly the right amount of shaking, as determined by Painting with Menoth John Labs. So I'm going to hold it up here so you can hear it. There, see, that's the shaking action you're looking for. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some. This is Trader Green, not Trader Joe's, by the way. I don't want you to get confused.
Not even close.
Nope, not even close. Trader Joe's, however, does have $5 bottles of wine that doesn't suck.
Really?
Yeah.
I look at that.
$5 Chuck. I forget what the exact name of it, but it's $5 and it doesn't suck. $5 Chuck doesn't suck. It's the way you can remember that. So what I'm doing here is I'm pulling this label off of here because in privateer presses, God bless them, by the way, God bless Privateer Press, they make their labels out of thick enough paper or glue that doesn't stick that terribly well, and you can take the label off and then you've got a dropper bottle with a very smart-looking Formula P3 label on it. And then what I do is, because I know that these labels will fall off if I don't do this, I take a little bit of masking tape here and I put it right on there. There you go. See, that's like a happy little tree on the back of that label. It's almost like having a happy tree. All right, so then I open up my P3, and I'm going to go ahead and... This is the manual dexterity portion of tonight's show. And probably should have done that before I had 2 or 3 shots of Kraken. But we open this up, and now I'm going to pour this in live on camera. I'm going to tilt it up a little bit so y'all can see me make a mess. Here we go. And here comes pouring with Menoth John. All right, here we go, and we are in. Now, I like to hold it up a little bit because that increases the degree of difficulty and it increases the ability, the chance that I might make an absolute fool of myself on the internet.
I'll tell you what, anyone who thought that the first pouring with Menoth John was going to be alcohol, well, they were wrong.
See, that's that we keep the we get the patrons by keeping it real and keeping it unpredictable. So now, I'm getting pretty close here to have extracted all of the Trader Green that I possibly can. We're gonna go with that. That's that. I'm feeling it right there, John. I think that's where we're gonna end up here. And you got a nice little dropper bottle now of Trader Green. You know, for as big as this bottle is, they should put more paint in it. I'm just saying. Privateer being kind of stingy.
Yeah, I think they do it by weight, not by actual volume.
And then that's all you do.
Like most things.
Exactly. You apply a little pressure, boom, snaps right in. And then what I like to do is, because I'm a little bit of a neat freak, I like to wipe that off, and then I go ahead and put the top on it, and add it to my P3 paint rack over here, and now I've got myself some Trader Green. So I highly recommend it. And here's that shaking action. We love the shaking action. And so that's our pro tip for tonight on Painting with Menoth John. Try them out. I really like them. I think it's what I'm. Every time I'm using a color now, I am adding it to a dropper bottle, and I just ordered a whole bunch of new paints to replace some of my oldest ones, and I'm going to transfer all of them. And then it works out really super slick with the wet palette over yonder here.
Yeah, if I were to switch to wet palette, I would definitely do that. Right now, I just buy as many Vallejo paints as I can.
Yeah, and they make a fine quality product. Let me tell you what.
They're overall good, but some of their stuff just watery as crap and totally separates. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, that blows.
Not gonna lie, but you shake it up enough.
Shake it up. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little. I'm gonna get myself a little bit of bootstrap leather here. I'm painting. Tonight I'm gonna paint a sorcerer. And you notice I just put a little dab on there, and that's all I need. Just a little drop. I'll hold it up here so y'all can see it. There's a little drop, and that's what I'm going to use. Now, if I were to be using it not out of a dropper bottle, that cap would be sitting open, and you get the ring of death around the inside of the ring, and it just sucks. You don't want any part of that. So, so John, what have you been up to lately? I was in New York, but I didn't get a chance to see you.
Well, that's fair. I mean, honestly, Wednesday was pretty slow. I don't even remember it, to be honest.
That'll
but
happen.
that's common. My weeks are so busy sometimes I don't remember anything other than the most recent day, and we had to do like a bunch of moving. Yeah, to top off moving my home, we had to move our stuff for our office Friday too.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they're doing new flooring, so. But I did. One of the locals, Alex, did challenge me on our challenge board we have to a game of War Machine,
Okay.
and brought his Troll Bloods. They're very well painted, versus my Cephalics, which are very not painted.
Your time will come, sir. You're just moving.
Yeah. And he played a really good game. You know, everyone sort of jokes that he's really slow, but he played a decent speed. Now, obviously, if we're playing on a clock, he might have been in trouble a little bit, but overall, decent speed for a newer player. I made a couple like huge errors of putting stuff too close, and he basically popped Doomy 2's feet and removed all three of my monstrosities in one turn.
Well, what was Beastford he playing?
He had Mulg, an Earthborn, and a Slag Troll. The Slag Troll basically, and he had an Axer, but I murdered that. I charged it with a Wrecker and had 3 focus on it, and yeah, I didn't use any focus, and I murdered that Axer under the Krillstone Order.
Ooh.
It was a thing.
Yeah. Wreckers are tough. Are tough business.
Yeah, I had an Instigator or an Agitator nearby to give the bonus, but I need to keep track of that. I definitely left some focus out there on the table that I could use for something else. But yeah, he had the Earthborn, put the Earthborn into that Wrecker with a good trample. He rolled just enough to kill it. Some pretty good dice there. Mulg, he managed to get the Slag Troll and some other guys, cleared just enough a hole for Mulg, and Mulg murdered my Subduer and my other Wrecker because I left them too close. So it was looking dire, but so I just popped the X on Texas's feet, and so it was Earthborn. My Wrecker was in the zone and it scored it. He trampled over my dudes next to the Wrecker. I feeded, pushed him. Then I TK'd him and got him away from the wall a little bit. Then I rampagered him out of the zone the other side.
Jesus.
It was hilarious. Oh my god. So funny. It was very funny.
I'll tell you, the last time I experienced a frickin' Rampager caster, I was playing Madrak 2 with the advanced move on my heavy, and he was able, through a spell martyr, it was Legion, to get Rampager off on him on bottom of turn 1 and kill him.
Yep.
That made me sad, just for the record.
You gotta be careful with that stuff. But so I got him out of the zone. That was hilarious. The rest of the feat was basically pushing guys out of the way, and I TK'd one of my other dudes out of the way, and I had 3 drudges from the Mindslaver unit, the bigger POW one, up. So the Mindbenders walked up. I sacked 3 more of them, made them super cool, moved them forward, and charged Doomy with 3 of them. And the first one hit him for like 11 damage. The second one hit him for, well, everything.
Yeah.
And then he died.
Yep, that'll happen.
So, but he played a good game. I was sweating it a little bit there, but you know, everyone forgets how hard those. I mean, Mat 11, Pound 19 it's a thing. It's actually kind of stupid, but you have to sacrifice models, so it ends up being, you know, reasonably fair. But holy moly!
Yeah, I mean,
I was shocked how good that was.
As a Protectorate player, I know what Mat 11 is because of the Avatar, and it's something and a half. Mat 8 up to Mat 10, then under Eye of Menoth gets you up to Mat 11, and it's crazy talk.
Yeah, that's, you know, I got 3 guys like that with 0 focus expenditure technically. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yep.
But I need to play some more Cephalics. I completely forget sometimes that Texas has a feat. I could have used it a turn before, and he never would have had any good charge lanes on my stuff.
Excellent has a feat. You're kidding me.
You know, I guess I played Mosar and then some other casters who have these questionable feats so much. Sometimes I just don't think I'll pop at a feat. You know, Magnus 2's got a good feat, but he's got to get threatening. He's got kind of threatening range to use it. So sometimes it's like late game. I'm like, yeah, I'll feat now.
Yeah, I actually had that problem with Fire Mountain, in that I kept on forgetting that Jarl had a feat, because everyone always bags on Jarl's feat, and then I was like, oh, Yeah, I can just like keep from getting hit. That'd be super sweet, and then that was a good thing.
Yeah, honestly, I've used Jarl's feet many times. I use it really early because you don't care about it. I mean, there's something freeing about having a feat that's just so, just put it out there. 'Cause it's not like you're going to get better value than blocking line of sight. And whenever you can do that, it's good. I mean, there's so many features like, oh, is this the right time? You know, do I want to pop it now? So maybe that's a good lesson. Just pop your damn feet. Because if you don't use it, it didn't do you any good at all.
Yep.
That turn when you might be able to get good value, maybe free up your stuff, clear a lane. Like, honestly, I had backup if Doomy had Tuft, because I had a third guy, and then I had enough Crow's Cutthroats free and 2 pistol rates to go and shoot him while he was down, because I cleared the rest of my feet. But good, definitely good to think of. Just pop your damn feet. But I need to get more play with those guys, because I'm not nearly as sharp as I need to be with them. I forgot, one of the guys walked by and mentioned beatback, and I'm like, oh yeah, beatback on the wrecker. I could have beat back that Axer 3 times, which is how many it took to kill him, and I probably would have been in range to start beating on that Earthbreaker with my 3 remaining focus, and that would have left Earthborn. And that would have made him probably not happy. I don't think it would have killed him, but it would have made him bad shape.
I've been sad Earthborn for sure.
Yeah. And then he would have just beat me up there instead of trampling over a bunch of my dudes and knocking them down, which actually would have been better for me in the long run. So remember your rules. Play your stuff. Get more experience.
Yeah, I can't speak to a battle report this week because basically I was in Pennsylvania and didn't have my models with me and didn't play at all. But it's that I did get a chance of one of the Brushheads, and I linked it on the Painting with Menoth John Facebook page. One of the Brushheads played the Fire Mountain with Jarl. If you're interested in seeing it, go over to the Facebook page, check it out. There's a link there, and he was played the same Signar caster that I played, which was the Siege, and it was amazing how very similar the games turned out because the Siege's feat did very similar things to my army, which is basically just skull effort. And it turned out that John, I'm out of practice with talking and painting at the same time. I am really out of practice at doing both of those activities at the same time. I'm trying my best. I'm sounding like a rambling idiot at this point, but I'm making good progress on this stupid model of mine. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so I guess we could probably banter on about battle reports. I really don't have one, but go on over to the Painting with Menoth John Facebook site and check out the let's see, it was Siege versus Jarl Fire Mountain if you're interested in such activities.
Yeah, that was actually my only game this week. It was kind of a slow week, but happens once in a while. No idea if this next week's going to be more or less. I do have a tournament to run next Sunday, so at least be able to talk about anything cool that happened there that I noticed.
I was going to be playing in a tournament in Reno on Monday, but I think I'm probably going to bag on it and not play just because I don't feel like packing up my miniatures yet tonight. I've got enough other garbage to do with getting ready for my trip and stuff like that. So I think I'm probably just going to bag on the tournament. Then
maybe at least see if one of the guys can bring you an army or something, because I'll go anywhere. If I go somewhere and someone's got an army for me to play, I'm in.
Maybe I can work it in.
Yeah.
So anyway, that probably then next week, of course, is my trip to Buffalo. So I'll be hanging out with the Beer Machine guys, and we're going to be going up to Canada to go up to the co-op there with the Gaming with the Cooler, and we're going to record a game with a team game, 35 points each person, and it's going to be random partners, no themes. And we're going to it's going to be myself, Adam from Beer Machine, Rich from Beer Machine, and then Owen from Gaming with the Cooler, and that will be showing up on the Gaming with the Cooler website on the YouTubes. So
sweet.
No show next week, by the way, John.
Fair enough. I will plan accordingly.
Yeah, I'm not going to be back until Monday, so yeah, I'm going to be recording with Beer Machine at some point during that weekend, but I'm not going to make it back. So, Brushheads, this is your last opportunity to hear this show for a couple weeks. But we're not going away. We're just saying see ya for a little while. That's all.
I'll see if I can rustle up some Facebook content for you guys. We'll see how it goes. With the tournament that day, it might be a little difficult.
Yep. You know, only if you got the time, John. Only if you got the time.
We'll see. I can actually, with the Facebook scheduling feature, a little peek behind the curtain, I might get some time during the week to work on it. Depends on how work goes, you know.
There you
Some
go.
days I get off early. I mean, heck, I had one day where I actually worked 9.5 hours. It was great.
Yeah, did you have to take a half-day vacation for that one?
Oh no, no! You know, it just so happened that most of the trucks were done. I'm like, you know, it's like 4:15. Most of the truck, there's like one truck left. You know what? I'm out. Screw this. I'm gonna go do laundry.
There you go, man.
Yeah,
So
it was good that they hired me on full time. So thumbs up there.
yeah, congratulations, man. That's great.
Yeah, it's good not being a contractor and not having to worry about that crap anymore.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, and we're gonna my boss's boss, who's a nice German gentleman who apparently sent an email during the week about uh, viewing one of the Star Wars original trilogy in the conference room on the giant projector.
Shut up.
He wants to do that. Yeah, I know. It was awesome. Like, it's the last person I would expect that from, but I'm in.
Hey, we
We're
love the
probably gonna go
Germans.
see, yeah, we're probably going to go see when the episode 7 comes out. We're probably going to all go see that together. And I have decided that I am going to review the Star Wars films for our in our media section in the weeks leading up to that movie.
Excellent. I will join you in that task, and because I have them on, I bought that digital thing on Amazon Prime where you have all of them. So
Oh no, I've got here's the funny thing. I have 3 VHS copies of each. Don't ask. It just happened that way.
it happens.
I have 2 DVD copies of each of the original trilogy, and then 1 DVD copy of the prequel trilogy.
There you go.
It's just strange. It happens.
I'm wondering
I
what.
was
Go ahead.
I was led to believe that one of the sets of DVDs for the original trilogy was non-special edition, but it was a lie. They were special edition. But to
Man,
be honest, you have to watch quite a bit of it to find out. It was like 20 minutes before I realized, oh, look, there's a Sentinel landing craft taking off and nice rendered dewbacks. That's the special edition version.
yep. When I bought the digital versions on Amazon, I thought I was buying the originals. Yeah, not really.
Don't worry. Disney won't leave that money on the table for long.
Oh God, no.
Because it's one thing the mouse likes. The mouse likes money.
The mouse likes money lots.
And
Well-
I'm down with it. If they're going to release all the versions I want, I'm in.
Oh yeah, I'll pay for it again.
I might even review the original Clone Wars off Cartoon Network. Remember the 15-minute or 5-minute episodes or whatever it was
Mm-hmm.
that came out between episodes 2 and 3. I have 2 DVDs of that. I might review that too. We'll see how time works out.
Sure, sounds great, man.
Those
So-
are actually pretty good. Little sneaky there. They're pretty good.
So we got some content coming your way, folks. We're taking
Yeah.
1 week off, but we got exciting stuff on the horizon. I think that's the key. That's the thing we want to take away from all this.
Yeah, we're probably going to not do too much with the. Actually, you know what? That'll probably be the return of the movie club is when we do that, because we haven't done too much with it recently because we need to evolve a little bit. We're sort of watching what we can watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, summer's just a weird time for trying to do that because there's so many movies coming out. Sometimes I'll see Ant-Man, he won't. Better to keep it a little fluid right now.
Yeah, I'd actually kind of forgotten about the damn movie club portion, to be honest with you.
Shh, I had your back there, man.
I know, it's all right. I don't, we believe in, if I'm going to be the president of Warmachine,
I
then,
don't even know where did that come from.
so,
Just pop on Facebook and I'm like, what's going on? There's a joke. I missed it. What happened?
So-
I don't know what happened.
so there's going to be a president of Warmachine, as far as I can tell. Dice Happen is a podcast out of the greater Rochester area, and they started making up one of their hosts is running for president of Warmachine, and so he put out a series of smear campaigns and smear ads that basically are why other people in the podcast community and the Warmachine community in general are not qualified to be president of Warmachine. And mine was Menoth John Christensen doesn't even know he's running for to be president of Warmachine unfit to lead or something like that. So I'm here to tell you folks that if you vote for me, first off, the patrons will get official crony status. And I am at least honest enough, much like Don Trump. And you're going to see a very disturbing picture of me for the thumbnail for this particular episode. Much like Donald Trump, I call him Don. I am a no bullshit candidate. I am here to tell you that if you give money to the www.patreon.com/menothjohn, I will give you political favors in there. So I'm thinking, people like Zosha, who are already patrons, can look forward to being able to feat twice if in Signar next year. I'm looking at Chili Winters, also a Signar player. He's going to get caught up in that one as well. And so, those are the kinds of things you can expect with me as president of Warmachine. I'm going to take care of those who take care of me. And that's how I like to look at things. I think that, like Tadgo can look forward to extra cheap. I will pass a law that airbrush rigs will be extra cheap next year. And so there you go. And I think that we're going to make, if you elect me as president of Warmachine, I promise no theme lists for a year. Unless Trolls gets a really sweet one. I think that if I were elected president of Warmachine, I would promise that that there would be sales on spokes models. So if I did a spokes model with a particular model, that it would go on sale right away. Hey man, I like the sound of that. All right, so there you go.
Oh, you just sold everyone right there,
Yep. So Nappy is the guy's name, and Nappy will give you a hot stone massage if you vote for him. Well, there you go. Don't get a vote. There's a vote against Nappy right there. I've seen pictures of him. You don't want any of that. I'm just saying. When you could have all this. I mean, let's face it. So I just want you to reach. I want you guys to realize that the presidency is a serious business here. And I also, if I was king of a Warmachine, all models would have less rope on them.
That's just funny because I heard about that secondhand. I didn't even catch your original post because it probably happened Saturday when I'm out all day. But
yeah, it's no rope. It'll be no rope 2015, and these frogs got way too much rope on them. I'm just telling you that right now. The rope may be the reason I don't get a second unit of Croak Hunters. It won't be because, or Croak Raiders or whatever the hell they are. It was a demoralizing experience. They turned out okay, but it was hard on me mentally. And as president, go ahead.
Maybe we just need to make a video of you painting lots of rope and make a montage out of it.
Oh my God, it'd be
like the Rocky theme of you painting rope. I mean, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. That'd be amazing. He's breaking rope into his blender.
Oh my God.
I had to have a little Kraken after hearing that.
Oh, my second force blow, and let's just say I've been knocked down a little bit.
There you go. Force blow is fucking legit. So I'm putting a little bit of this 50-year-old putrid green from Citadel. This is an oldie but a goodie.
That paint is definitely old. That paint should have an AARP card.
It's what plants crave. First off, but it's what I'm using for the spines, or the quills, I guess I should say, on my super cool sorcerer guy here that I'm making way too much progress on a Painting with Menoth John episode.
Hey, that's awesome. You're getting progress. You're campaigning.
I know.
You talked about alcohol and games and movies.
Woo!
Good Lord, doing everything.
Yeah, we should never have guests on ever again.
I mean, I guess the only thing left to do is a Flippity Bloop.
Oh, snap. I see what you did there. That's why you're the best co-host in the business. By the way, I just want to let everybody know that the reason that Chris... I want to first off congratulate Chris Suri and Soshi for their amazing awards at Gen Con. They did super great. And I'd also like to point out the fact that before they were on Painting with Menoth John, they had not won Gen Con yet. And now after they were on Painting with Menoth John, they won Gen Con. So if you
can't
want,
argue with facts like that.
I think it's irrefutable. So, if they would like to mail those awards to Painting with Menoth John, all they need to do is we'll put them up in a case and we'll on the front of the case it'll be shit Painting with Menoth John caused to happen. So, we will take credit for it. And if I was president of Warmachine, everybody would get credit for Soshi and Chris Suri's painting. So there you go. More stuff that could be yours. So Flippity Bloop.
All right, well, let's start with the elephant in the room, which is David Cameron. He says, this is probably a very stupid question, but I recently acquired a brush towel from Games and Gears.
Mm-hmm.
What is it used for, please?
Well, I think...
to point out, he's actually posted this one before that we sort of glossed over because we didn't really have the time.
Let's face it, we didn't really have an answer. Now that I've painted this stupid sorcerer with this hair, I feel an urge with that white skin to make him the Joker. But I'm not going to. So what is
Keep your paint a little serious.
The paint? Why so serious? Thank you. That was a great straight line, by the way. So what is the towel for? Now, I think that's really a question that is best answered by reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Really, what Games and Gears is doing for you with that towel is providing you a top quality towel in case the Earth is destroyed, and you need a towel. So you put your thumb up, you got your towel wrapped around your neck, you're safe. You're all set. Above the Hitchhiker's Guide also mentions that you should always have a towel. So honestly, for me, what I would use a towel for if I had one of those Games and Gears towels is I would use it to sop up the tears of those who saw how awesome my painting was. Okay, long story short, they sponsor the show. I really don't know what the towel is for.
So I think the towel is actually for the exact same thing you use your little blue paper towels for.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the same thing, just reusable. You wash it, you use it again.
Well,
I see people use towels all the time. My buddies, Frank, who occasionally listens to us, not live, of course, he's in the UK. That would be crazy. But looking at you, Nick, crazy. But I think it's for the same thing. Really, honestly.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I never thought that. Desert Warlock. I'm sorry. He has to get his purple skin. He's got to stick with the rest of his clan. If I get a second Warlock, a second Sorcerer, I will paint him as the Joker because this is way too close. Anyway, well, that's good. That's a good explanation. I hadn't thought of that, to be honest.
I'll just roll with some serious stuff, I like that sometimes.
I don't see. Now I was gonna paint it. I was gonna paint these scrolls on the back. I was gonna go with moldy ochre as a bamboo color, and then wash it with Agrax Earthshade to dull it down. I just don't think that's a good bamboo color. I want some yellow, but I also want more of a tan.
You also want a little bit of green in it. I painted some bamboo for a base of a Malifaux model, and all my buddies recommended getting a little green in there. And
all right, so
honestly, in my current state, I don't remember what I used, but we got a little bit of green in there, and it looked really good.
So
take a picture of it sometime.
So I'm gonna put a little moldy ochre. I feel like Bob Ross right now. I've got a little moldy ochre on the wet palette, and I've got some green over here. I've got this swamp ground that I've been using. It's a Minotaur airbrush paint, so it's nice and thin to start off with. I'm gonna take a little bit of that green, that swamp green. I'm gonna add a little bit of the moldy ochre. I'm gonna see. This is what the wet palette is all about, folks. Is this custom color making right here? I'm not sure I like this. Might actually be right up the alley. We're gonna try this one right here on this big scroll right here, and I like that, John. I like that green in there a lot.
Someone pointed out, and I'm like, yeah, there is a bit of green in bamboo, and it just worked. Like I said, I don't remember what I used, but it worked out pretty good. The model I painted on is actually an Oni, and I use a lot of Asian bases for some of my Malifaux models. So eventually I'll finish it completely, and I'll take a picture and put it on a Brushhead gallery.
Absolutely. And you and I are not exempt from the Brushhead gallery just because we're hosts. We can post our own stuff on there too. I really like how this is turning out, John. The the green gives it that more organic feel that you would expect from a plant material, and it's working really good. And honestly, I couldn't have done that. So Brushheads, I gotta tell you, Tadgo won't listen to me. He's dead fast against the wet palette, but I'm gonna tell you that it is the way to go.
Oh my!
You can't listen to Tadgo. He's from Michigan, so, and you know what else is from Michigan? Yeah, you know it.
Alliance?
Detroit. Detroit's also from Michigan. And so there you go. So Flippity Bloop.
All right. Here's one I feel like we answered before. It's really recent. Came in while we were actually talking.
Sure.
It's from Joe Sepulveda. He said, "Does the rise of 2D terrain so that Warmachine has gone too far to the competitive side? Are games for fun dead?"
We mentioned that. We mentioned that the other day. I think we had a little discussion about this, and I think where we netted out on this was that I think that we understand why they're using 2D terrain, but that for the most part, for those of us who are on this show, we're more of a fan of the 3D terrain.
Now, if you're using it for travel purposes, super awesome, double thumbs up, do it. But it's like a gaming store. If I came into a gaming store for a tournament and all they have is 2D terrain, I'd probably play in a tournament, but I would probably not go back to that place ever again if it was a drive, because that's not what I'm not even that serious. I had
Advanced Maneuvers, who is Raven's company, sent me a bunch of 2D terrain a long, long time ago. They were doing 2D terrain long before anybody else was, and they were cutting theirs rather than out of the mouse pad material. They were making theirs out of Lexan. And it's for the portability and stuff like that. I'm right there with you. But it's not as nice to look at. I mean, I've got that beautiful stuff from Greenleaf Terrain, our lovely sponsor, and I really, really love it. The hills can be a little challenging sometimes, but you just do what you got to do, and you can figure out ways to make it still work very, very well. I think that it just adds a lot to the look of the game, and I think as long as you're playing a game and you're having fun, if you're doing either one of them, God bless you. But if you can get some cinematic looking 3D terrain, use it. I think that's kind of where I'm at.
Now, there are a couple things I like 2D terrain for, and that's like trenches and like craters and stuff like that, where, we've used the 40K craters in the middle of fields and all, and they're a little challenging to put models on. So I don't mind 2D for that, or trenches. But beyond that, we have a guy in our store. We've basically made up custom hills that are flat-sided. So your model could be half on, half off. You put a die under or something. But in general, if you're on the hill, you're fine. It's not sloped or anything. It's a harsh, step up there, and I think that works pretty well. And trees, as long as you use templates you can move the trees off of, who cares? It's kind of 2D with the 3D when you want it for cinematic reasons.
But I'm not gonna sit here and hate on people. If you want the 2D terrain, use the 2D terrain. Just as long as you're having fun, you're doing it right.
Yeah, but absolutely.
But if you can, do.
Yeah. So there we go. Next, let's see. Boy, Archidan definitely put a bunch in there. Let's skip that for something a little more easy real quick.
It's because we love that.
Kev Bryant asks, if you could move one warlock caster from one faction to another for fluff reasons, who and why?
I think for fluff reasons, I would move Vlad 1 over to Protectorate, and I think he's, I think this harkens very reminiscent to that long ago back in Mark 1 when, or maybe it was early Mark 2, I can't remember, probably early Mark 2, that they had the alternate caster cards at one of the Press Gang Invitationals. And I have those cards, and I'm very lucky to have them. They moved Vlad into Protector because he's a Menite. What's this garbage I hear where people are pronouncing it Menite? What is that? Have you heard that?
I've heard it occasionally. It's pronunciation of a made-up word, potato.
They say it was what was listed in the pronunciation guide. I don't believe that. I didn't see that. I saw Kador, but I didn't see Menite or Menoth. So
yeah, I didn't see it either. So I don't know.
whatever.
So the Kador, Kador, like whatever.
But anyway, so that'd be my choice. I think that Vlad, being the good Menite that he is, would do quite well in the Protectorate, and Sign's importance in Protectorate wouldn't be broken even a little bit, right?
Yeah, about that. I meaning to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I would actually probably do Nemo into Convergence, even though I don't play either of those
Ooh,
factions.
interesting.
Because it sort of fits, that, or maybe here's another fun one if you want to poke fun at somebody. Maybe Haley into Convergence, because her moving into Convergence is a better story than Space Magic. Her summoning getting better. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Nemo into Convergence.
There you go. Vote. There you go. If you vote for
Because
me,
it just fits. It's sort of his idea. He's intrigued by it. That's a place it can go.
if you vote for me for Warmachine president, I will move Vlad into Protectorate, and I will move Haley into Convergence. There you go.
There you go. All right. So next, let's hit up. Well, here we go. Let's just Arkian gave us a whole bunch. Let's start hitting them.
He's sweet.
I'm gonna do them a little bit at a time and intersperse with other things.
Sure.
Let's start with this one. It's the most interesting part of it. Is have you checked any of the other recent excellent minis coming out? And what would be great for painting, such as Wrath of Kings, Malifaux, or dare he say it, Age of Sigmar, Frostcave, or Kingdom Death?
So funny you should mention that. I just purchased into Guild Ball, and I am going to be painting some Guild Ball dudes on the show as soon as they arrive, because I want to play Guild Ball with my son. The way I pitched this at my older boy, my 12-year-old, was, hey, I don't know anything about the game. I totally won't crush you because we're going to be learning it at the exact same time. And he was like, I'm all in. So it's going to be super sweet. I bought into the engineers and the brewers. All of this is obvious. All right. So I am going to... Go ahead.
I've actually looked at quite a few models because obviously I get a lot of locals who get all sorts of crazy models.
Mm-hmm.
I play Malifaux. Malifaux models are very cool.
Yep.
We like to joke that Malifaux makes the models Ms. Predator Press did. It's truth. Their models are really good. Plastic. The plastic's great. The mold lines are very little. Kingdom Death, cool models, but occasionally they take it even beyond my taste, let's say.
Yep, I got no...
Their Gen Con exclusive was a little much. It was a touch too much, let's say. Wrath of Kings, never really been impressed with their models. They're fine. Didn't blow me away or anything. Most of the rest, their models, they're cool. Age of Sigmar has some cool models, but I mean, every cool model, like their new archers came out for the good guys, the Sigmar guys.
Yeah, the what do they call them?
Those archers are cool. The crossbows are cool. The super archer's cool. Then they have that stupid super crossbow thing that just looks asinine. You're like, you ruined this entire box because you made that model. I put this box down because you made that model. So there are other stuff. I mean, I kind of like the aesthetic of it. I mean, I'm not going to buy any. Let's be honest. It's not really my kind of game.
Yeah.
I got plenty of models. I'm actually going to keep some of my Working Goblin models, rebase them. It'll be cool. Keep some models. But they make some cool models, but they always ruin them. I do like the guy with the little... he's got a little griffin puppy, which we've called a Gruppy.
Aw.
And apparently they're going to make units of those, so hey, that's cool. Me and we have talked about using those as werewolves just for fun.
I'm actually looking forward also to painting some of my Rivet Wars as well, because
Rivet Wars. I like the aesthetic of that. I never really got into it because one of the local Snuffleupagus got into it, and I figured with a board game, we only really need one or two locals into it.
Yep, it's
like Exploding Kittens, which we played.
How'd you like it, by the way?
It was fun. I'm 100%. I have not lost a game yet. I'm 2-0.
Nice. I have the regular version and the not safe for work version.
Yeah, he had that too. He only played the regular version, but it's pure luck. But it's a good time. It's a great. You play for a couple minutes, and I played it for a couple minutes, and I wandered off.
There you go.
It was good.
Excellent.
All right. So next, let's skip to another. Let's get someone else. Christopher Tatros says, which is better, super legit, totally bonkers, or fucking sweet?
I'm kind of a fan of Super Legit, mostly because of our sponsorship by Super Legitivision, and what they've brought to the show.
It's
I think
.com.
it is .com. It's 100% .com. You know, you can't get any more .com than Super Legitivision. So I'm gonna go with Super Legit. Although fucking sweet is fucking sweet. There's no two ways about it. What do you think?
I usually go with fucking sweet because, I mean, totally bonkers usually implies broken in some ways. Legit is just good, but fucking sweet just means that it's cool. It doesn't mean it's good in the game or anything like that. Assuming you're talking about a game or whatever. Just it's just fucking sweet. I'm in.
Just fucking sweet, man.
You know, even for all the crappy background like Haley 3 has, the concept of that is fucking sweet.
It is fucking sweet.
She summons her past and future versions. That's fucking cool. Just ignore the rest of it.
Ignore the rest of that bullshit going on.
Exactly. Ignore the oh, she just got better. She willed it. Okay.
I'm much better.
So, I mean, we joke that we should call her Mary Sue instead.
Oh, snap.
It's true.
Oh, it's very true. But everything we're
Like,
associated
everyone
with
stop
her.
talking about Stryker. Stryker's no longer, you know, the Gary Stu. It's Haley.
I will never calm down the hate when it relates to the Signar. We got one question to know about when will the Crix hate end?
Yep.
Never.
Never. No.
Never. I'm sorry if you play Crix.
When they have to follow all the rules of the game, then
Yeah.
it'll stop. So if
Yeah.
someone's playing Texas Raiders with Black Ogre and Bordy Party and stuff that requires leadership tests, no hate for that person. But when they've got lots of models that ignore command checks and all that stuff, nope, get out of here.
I'll respect Crix when they have to pay more than half of for an infantry unit that everybody else has to pay and has twice the abilities on the damn card. God, I hate Crix.
Yep.
F those guys. F their recursion.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, so let's see here. Here's an interesting one. I'm not sure we're in the right mindset to answer, but we can give it a shot.
Oh, hell yeah.
From Robert Dorefsky. How do you stay competitive while building a brand new meta?
Boy, that's a good question. And I'll tell you, I'm kind of in that mind. I don't want to be. I'm not competitive. I mean, so to speak, but I like to play well. And on the rare occasion that I play at a store with a more developed or more mature meta, I want to not embarrass myself. But at the same time, many times I'm playing at a store with a very young meta, where they just haven't built up the learning curve yet. So I guess what I try to do is I try to, if I've got a list that I think is going to be competitive, I bring it into that meta in known bad matchups. So if I've got a newer meta, I bring that list into a bad matchup. It's a little bit like doing exercise for myself, and they don't end up with a competitive list that is tuned against exactly what they're putting on the table. So it helps even the scales a little bit, and that seems to have worked out pretty well. I mean, like Fire Mountain, Siege is a terrible matchup for Fire Mountain, or not a terrible matchup. It's not a very good matchup for Fire Mountain. So I'm happy to bring that in against a newer player that is playing Siege, because it's not going to blow him off the table. Mm-hmm. So that's one thought. What do you think, John? You play a little bit more competitively than I do.
I like to, when people are playing, I let them do what they're doing, but I remind them when they're doing something that's kind of, not in the normal rules. Like when they're being a little loose with their play, I remind them. I'm like, well, normally you do it this way, but you're okay.
Yeah.
You do little stuff like that. And for competitive, if you take the game, I mean, you can have fun playing the game, but if you take it a little seriously and you sort of let that be shown, it helps. It's just sort of the way it works. I mean, it's hard to describe because I've had 2 force blows.
That's okay.
But,
usually I'm the one that is like completely inarticulate by this point in the show.
Well, it's a hard point to make to begin with.
Yeah.
Really, lead by example would be the best way. Play competitively, but don't play like a douche.
And play clean.
And
That's
you'll
what Bowie was
find,
just
yeah,
saying.
you play clean, you play by the rules. If you let them get away with stuff, you let them know that you're letting them get away with stuff.
Yep.
You know, and then you just play like that and lead by example.
There you go. Good advice. And remember, folks, playing competitively doesn't mean being a jerk. It means that you're playing a list that you think is powerful and good and will win you the game, and you play a tight game by the rules. No gotchas, none of this nonsense. Just by the rules.
Honestly, you can do gotchas, but make them earn the gotchas. I played a guy, local guy Rob, and I was playing McBain theme list or with all my upkeeps in play, so I've got countermeasures on Risen. So I'm putting Risen up in all sorts of stupid places. He pops forward with his Bile Thralls, trying to purge. It's a range attack. Nope, can't do it.
Yeah, I had that happen at my local LGS too with a less experienced player. I was like,
It's a gotcha, but that's what happens when they don't ask. You know, you teach them like, well, look, you got to ask what this stuff does.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not thinking. I played McBain a billion times. I'm not thinking you. I'm thinking I play him. Another guy in the store's playing him. I'm thinking you have an idea what these things do. You know.
Yeah.
And that's part of my point we're assuming, but the only gotcha should be because they chose to be ignorant.
Yep.
That's sort of the competitive thing. You go, well, you know, it's like, hey, can I take it back? Go to this guy. Well, no, you didn't ask, so you can't take it back. You activate this unit. Do the best you can with this unit. See what you can do.
Yeah. Yep. What I meant was that with the whole ranged attack for a Bile Thrall thing, I ran into that at a local game store, and it was a hell of a surprise for my opponent. And it was a hell of a time finding where in the damn rule book that rule exists, by the way.
Yeah, because it's on the weapon, not on him. Yeah, we learned it when Banyan was bringing back Bile Thralls with Gatsby and wanted to make them purge during their activation. Nope. Because shockingly, I was removing enough guys from play with Kara Sloan. Don't ask. Dust to dust.
Dust to dust. Holy shit.
It removes guys from play.
Yep.
I mean, it's a thing.
Yep.
That and Stormguard, where, you know, set defense, it's suddenly you've got it's a thing, you know? It's crazy.
Excellent. Next, Flippity Bloop.
All right, let's get a couple King of Warmachine going out here. Kev Bryant, does a drunk Menoth John make more reasoned and logical sense than some potential party candidates?
Yes.
Absolutely yes. You can't make important decisions while you're sober.
All you got to do is listen to Scott Walker open his mouth once.
Oh, I wish that guy wasn't sober. It scares me that he is.
That guy.
I don't even live in that state.
That guy scares me on levels I didn't know I could be scared anymore.
How many states away from you am I? That guy offends me, and I'm not even remotely in your state.
He's got problems.
Yeah. So there you go.
I love the fact that he didn't graduate from college, so he feels like nobody has to graduate from college. In fact, he's going to make it so that nobody can graduate from college. It's just ridiculous. And then he takes money away from the University of Wisconsin and gives it to the Bucks, who haven't done shit in 30 years and somehow deserve to have the state buy him a new goddamn stadium. Whatever.
Yeah. Forget that guy.
F
Drunk
that
Menoth
guy.
John, better.
Drunk Menoth John, better than Scott Walker. Well, just...
It's not even close. We don't even need to make that statement.
Yeah,
It's understood.
Fact.
All right. Next is from Cliff Hughes. Is when you become president for life of Warmachine, what will my job be?
Well, Tago, you're a patron, so you're basically going to be able to name it. If you would like to be the secretary of point values, we're going to have one of those, by the way. So basically, that erratas are not only going to be about like, ooh, I cannot bring back large based models when I pop my broken ass feet all up in your face. No, it's going to be like, nope. Warwitch Siren should cost 10 points. And that's one of the things. If you vote for me for President of Warmachine, I will make Warwitch Sirens 52 points. I'll make them so expensive that you can take a Warwitch Siren and a Bone Jack, and that's all you could take for a Crix list. So, vote for me. How's that?
Wow.
How's that hate for Crix
Crix
working on? Yeah,
It seems strong.
seems very strong. It's gonna get stronger.
Oh.
So Tadgo, you'll be a Secretary of Points and shit. That's exactly what it'll be called.
Secretary of Points and shit. I like that.
Yep.
So, Kevin Bashford, a.k.a. Dowdark, wants to know, when you become king, will you be writing laws to reprieve you of any war crimes committed while you're on the throne?
I'm sorry, wait. What was it again?
Will you be writing in laws to reprieve you of any war crimes committed while on the throne?
I'm sorry, but in my tenure as Warmachine President for life, because that's what Tadgo said it was, that there will be no war crimes. There will only be the only crime will be playing Legion and Crix.
That's fair.
And
Oh,
and if
boy.
you play those, your punishment will be you have to drink Sailor Dan rum. Not Sailor Dan. What was that bullshit I had? That maple fuck bullshit that I had.
I don't remember.
Roaring Dan. Roaring Dan's
Roaring
rum.
Dan, yeah.
Yeah, you got to drink Roaring Dan's rum if you play those two factions. So you don't want any
No
part of
way.
that. So don't do it.
Not worth it.
Nope.
All right. Joe Sabulveda asks, would hardcore casual be the dress code if you were president of Warmachine?
Absolutely. And furthermore, it'll be rather than having hardcore casual Fridays, since it is the dress code, it will be formal Fridays. And you can and women will have to wear bonnets, and men will wear top hats.
Wow, this is getting kind of serious.
Yeah, and or Kaya cosplay.
Okay, I'm down.
Very into the Kaya cosplay, so you can do that if you want to. Be totally down.
John Snodgrass asks, will the president of Warmachine have a cabinet, and will there be a secretary of super legit painting?
First off,
I was to say, I love that title, Secretary of Super Legit Painting. That's a great title.
So first off, yes, there will be a cabinet because I have to have somewhere to put my miniatures. So
I'm
there'll
trying to avoid that.
it'll be a glass cabinet, and it will have good lighting, and it will be mostly trolls. And then yes, there will be a Secretary of Super Legit Painting, and her name is Shoshi. So that's your job, Shoshi, unless you don't become a patron, in which case I will give that to whoever gives the most, because it's all about the cronyism at when I'm president. See, I'm not going to hide it. That's the difference between my kind of cronyism and the kind of cronyism we have in Washington right now. And Nappy would probably put a retarded monkey as president of Super Legit Painting, or would not have any at all. So you don't want that. Probably just fling poo.
Tadgo said he will totally cosplay as Kaya.
That's change we don't need.
I told him no bueno.
No bueno. That's something we can live without. So I appreciate you volunteering, but I really, the kids. We got to think about the kids. So, God, I'm sick of painting.
Next question. Let's see how many more of these we got here. Let's see.
I may have to stop painting because I'm tired of it.
Fair enough. Here you go. Tracy Carter asks, what faction do each of the candidates for King of Warmachine represent?
I don't know what Nappy. I think Nappy is Crix because he's a terrible person and you shouldn't vote for him. And everyone else plays Legion except for me. I play whatever faction would make you happiest. So I'll play Trolls if that's what you think is good. I'll play if you want me to play Circle. I will, as far as you know, I'll play Circle. Whatever you need is what I'm going to be a man of the people with my factions. So, but everyone else will play bad things that you hate and wish didn't exist. I hear Nappy is a strong proponent of body and soul.
Oh, fuck that list.
Yeah, so if you want more body and soul, vote for Nappy. If you want less body and soul, vote for me. because I'll
There you
outlaw it.
go.
I'm going to outlaw body and soul. That's my first action. If voted when I'm voted, the President of Warmachine, I will outlaw body and soul unless I'm playing it. And I don't own the model, so there's very little chance I'll be playing it.
Oh. All right, so now back to some quote-unquote serious questions.
Yeah, wait, whoa.
That's quote-unquote. William Long asks, if I want to sneak a drink into a dry event, is it okay to fill my Kraken with Kraken?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just a natural combination. I mean, if you've got Kraken in your Kraken, yo, dog, I heard you like Kraken. So I put Kraken in your Kraken so you can Kraken while you're Krakening. And, I think that's just fine. I mean, I think that if you're going to go to the drive-in movie, I recommend a Boda of Kraken if you can get your hands on it. And just fill that bad boy up and go see Fantastic Four. I hear it's a super legit movie.
Oh God, no. Disclaimer, do not see that movie. Apparently it's a misnomer. There's 4 of them, but I don't think it's actually fantastic.
No. See, if I was king of Warmachine, I would make all movies super sweet and totally legit. So I would have to see them, and if I didn't think that they were totally legit and super sweet, both of them, we'd have to hit both levels. Then I would not release them. So, inside, we'll get to that later on because we're going to talk about some movies tonight. God damn it! And
Fantastic Four has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yup,
8.
that's right, folks. Pixels is better than it.
That's saying something because that's Adam Sandler and Kirk.
Yup. Yup.
All right, so let's see what else we can get with these serious.
It's pretty serious.
Rob Alains asks, what's the War Machine equivalent of FarmersOnly.com? My meta's so lonely.
Wow. First off,
I got nothing. I am sorry, dude.
Flippity Bloop.
Okay. All right, Richard Carey goes, is painting rows worse than painting rivets? And does alcohol help? Should models also have a Kraken rating?
Yes. This is I think something we can. I think this is something that we can add to the community that doesn't already exist. We will review models for painting. First off, I will take rivets to rope any day of the week, and I will tell you why. Is that I hate rounded things. So like rope
But rivets are
or
rounded?
what? Yeah, but they're not as rounded. They're just like little dots.
It's a rounded scale. I gotcha.
Yeah, so if you look at rope, I mean, this leather straps are almost rope, but they're like survivable. But if you look at like arrows or anything that's like gun barrels and crap like that are round like that, they're a huge pain in the ass to paint, and I disapprove. And if I was president of Warmachine, I would outlaw all rounded things. And then, so basically, I would go with rivets because rivets are super sweet because you can get away with just like making a little dab of paint and boom, boom, boom. Now, Richard's a much better painter than I am. So for those of you who don't remember, Richard, he was on one of the Brushhead galleries. He had that incredible cream-colored Imperatus with the orange, and it is both super legit and fucking sweet. And I will tell you that that's fucking great.
There you go. I definitely think models should have Kraken ratings. They should have 3 Kraken ratings. There's the assembly rating, the painting rating, rhymes, and the rules rating.
I agree.
Well, that's too complicated, so we don't actually keep track of all of that.
Nope. I made pretty good progress on this ass clown tonight.
Yeah, he's looking good.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to do tonight. I've had enough. Fuck this shit. We're putting that over here. I'm going to put the top on my one of these was one question that we haven't gotten to, John, is how do you keep your wet palette from smelling like mold?
Yep, that was next on my list from Dark River. How do you keep your wet palette mildew free?
Here's what I would say is that what I do is the first thing I did was mine got mildew smell in mine. And I thought I was going to have to like throw it away and buy new. But what I did was I took it and I walked it over to my sink, my double tubs over here. I've got tubs in my basement, and I used hot water and I squeezed it out real good. And I didn't use any soap in it because I was afraid soap would fuck up my paints. But what I'm going to do tonight, because I'm going to be gone for such a long period of time, is I use parchment paper in my wet palettes. No, and I should probably be down in the painting camp for this, honestly. So I use parchment paper on my wet palette down here. I just got to take this right now. I don't even give a shit. I'm going to take this right here on the show, and I'm going to throw it away. And it's parchment paper, just the same kind of stuff that you get in the store for baking on. And then what I'm going to do after the program tonight is I'm going to take this sponge. I'm just going to hang it on my clothesline I've got over here, and I'm going to let it dry. If you're going to go away from it for a long period of time, you should probably let it dry out and just kind of, so otherwise it is going to smell. I know that Ashton Holbrook from the Red Modeling Painting likes to put a drop or two, and he describes it as a drop or two of bleach in the bottom of his wet palette. And what that does is that is just enough to keep anything that might grow in there down, so that it doesn't start smelling bad. And yes, I do realize that the Earth is round. I don't have to paint the Earth, and that's all I care about. So there you go. So that's how I keep it from stinking. Otherwise, it's going to smell like shit, and you got to buy new ones. I did buy some replacement ones, and I bought extra of the wet palette paper, but I found now that since I found out about the awesome that is parchment paper, I don't really use it. So I just use parchment paper because it's really freaking cheap, and it works super great. Flippity bloop.
All right, we got to finish it off. We got two I think we need to get to this week from Tadco because they're kind of appropriate.
Yep.
One is, how are the Croak Raiders?
Wow, they're amazing. They're my favorite model ever. People can say what they want about Nis Hunters. I'll take my Croak Raiders. Or Croak Raiders? Yeah. And they are amazing. I'm almost at the point now where I start lists with Caster, Croak Raiders, Croc Witch Doctor. And then I figure out what else is going to be in the list after that. Because they are amazing. They have way too much rope on them. Also, there's Tin Can Sniper boobs are around also. So, and I don't have to paint those either, but I would be willing to. Anyway, so I really like them. If you don't own a set and you have if you have a faction that will play with Croak Raiders, you should own some. If you play a faction,
I not Circle and Hordes.
They don't work for Circle?
They'll work for Circle, but they don't do anything for Circle. There's only one model with a fire attack. They're not really. They have some play value versus standard out of the box. Blood Trackers. No Nuala, but let's be honest, you don't really have two lists with that.
Yep. By the way, Brian Steffen pointed out that if you vote for Nappy, he will paint the Earth. I can't see that as a good thing. So vote for me because I will not paint the Earth. Anyway, so yeah, I think that if you have a faction that will use them, you should probably get a set and a Crocodoc. And if you don't play a faction that will use them, switch to a faction that will, because they are pretty cool.
All right, and the last one for tonight was also from Tadco. It says, does a metal beard painting cup make it better?
Does a metal what?
Metal beard.
Metal? Oh yeah, it makes it better. Are you kidding? I got one right here.
That's why you mentioned it.
Yeah. So if you have if you think everything is awesome, I recommend the Metal Beard painting cup because I used to use a solo cup, and I think that having some Lego love in there is super sweet and totally legit.
For humor value, I actually use standard plastic cups for my normal colors, and then I have a second, basically the kind of cup you'd pee into for a pee test with a sealable lid for my metallics, because I'm crazy like that.
Well, You know what? That's not crazy. That's what makes you happy, and that's what you should do. So here's to your pea cups. I hope somebody drove off the road because of that one. Probably not. As you can see, go ahead.
And to Seth, Watkins, and Arcadan, we'll get the rest of yours next week.
Absolutely.
Or 2 weeks from now.
Yep. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now.
Or maybe I'll answer them on Facebook on Sunday. We'll see how it goes.
That would be totally legit and super sweet. So, as you can see, this is Minoth Fred, and he hasn't gotten any love recently. Mostly because I've played against him a couple of times, and now I'm in no rush to finish painting him. I don't think he's all that.
And update from our last podcast. Apparently, Centervale thinks that what's his name? Zal 2 is top tier scoring. And also, this little guy named James Watt, who apparently is pretty decent at the game, thinks he's pretty good too. So we may be wrong. Who knows?
Jason Watt, apparently good at this game.
Apparently.
And by the way, Arcadan, it's really good to see you back in the house. It's been a while since we've seen you on here. I know you're very busy with the con. For those of you who don't know, Arcadan is the brains behind Tectonic Craft Studios, and we are very, very blessed and very, very pleased to call him Brushhead. So thank you very much for being here. Arcadan, we are going to dedicate, I think, a show to putting the dice tower that you gave to me together finally after all this goddamn time, and we'll see. I'm gonna get the instructions printed out, and I'm gonna get after it. So it's gonna be awesome. So there you go. Boy, Jason Watt is only good for one weekend, or the last 4 years, one of the two.
Oh, that's pretty funny. All right, so media section.
Media section. Holy shit! I saw a movie this weekend, John.
So did I. Well,
do you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
Over a couple days. Go ahead.
Okay, I saw Inside Out. Go see it. It is touching and amazing. It is.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Either I don't know which is more emotionally involving, Up, or this movie. It is. When I first saw it, ha ha ha, voices in your head. It's gonna be funny for like 15 minutes, but it teaches such a good lesson on the importance of sadness, in how sadness plays a strong role in your life, around understanding, being able to appreciate joy. And I don't think I've ever seen a movie teach that lesson before. And it is taught with subtlety and with, and I really think it's well done. Go ahead, John.
Up kind of taught that same lesson if you think about it.
I suppose.
You know.
I look at Up as being more of a person rediscovering life after losing everything that was important to them. But I guess, and I can see what you're saying, though. That is a very similar thing between the value of sadness teaching joy.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's life. Life's going to give you sadness. Life's going to give you joy. You just got to keep going through the sadness to get to the next batch of joy. That's how things go.
That's the straight up truth. And, looking back on my own life and the experiences I've had, I honestly can't remember a time in my life when I've been this consistently happy. And, John, you have a lot to do with that. And the Brushheads, you guys all have a lot to do with that. And, Belinda has an amazing amount to do with that. And my kids have just everything has just kind of come together to help turn those dark times into good times.
Absolutely.
And I know that there are some of you out there that are maybe in a little bit different spot than I am right now, but I'm here to tell you that there is light at the end of that tunnel, and it is not a train. It is actually life on the other end of that tunnel. Mm-hmm. And just keep on forging forward, folks. It's out there. So I am a huge fan of this movie. My 12-year-old son and I went to go see it together after my younger boy had already seen it with his mom, and I really recommend it. This is a no shots of Kraken movie, because I really think if you were to have even one shot of Kraken, some of the subtlety might be lost on you. And it's subtle. It's That's what's so great about it. It doesn't beat you over the head with its message. It just is. And yeah, so we're gonna give it plenty of time for people to get out there and see it and stuff like that. But there's a character in the movie that represents this young girl's imaginary friend, and cried a couple of times during this movie. And
Catch in the feels.
oh my God, smacking it. So I'll tell you, folks, go out and see it. Inside Out, one of Pixar's best. Disney just knows how to make movies right now, and
Yeah.
they are just doing it right. So get out and see it. John, what did you see this week?
Well, Forsaken Pop-Tart sometime in the middle of the week mentioned how Enemy at the Gates is on Netflix. So I called him a pansy because he didn't own it on DVD. And I do, so I put it on and watched it over a couple days. Now, it's good. If you don't know what it is, it's basically World War II, Battle of Stalingrad. It follows an actual person who existed, Vasily Zaitsev, who was a excellent sniper through that battle. Now, to be honest, it doesn't necessarily show it in proper, realistic fashion, but it is a pretty good World War II movie.
Yep.
It's good fun, a bit heavy at times because, I mean, it's World War II. You can't take too much light of World War II unless you're watching, what's that movie with Val Kilmer? Top Secret. Unless you're watching that movie, you can't take too much fun on World War II because that was a hell of a thing.
That's serious
the
business.
Battle of Stalingrad may have been two hells of a thing because it was probably the most bloody war ever, or bloody battle ever in the history of warfare.
Yep. No
one was safe.
My uncle was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he wouldn't speak of it.
Yeah. I find most veterans I talk to, if they were in something big like that, they don't generally want to speak about it. So, but back to the movie, it was a good movie. It was a little slow at points, but that's because they took what was a good war movie and a good hero's journey. You know, his rise from being a farm boy to hero, to questioning himself, not sure he can do all this, so much weight on his shoulders, to victory. But unfortunately, they put a love story in there. And I like Rachel Weisz. She's a good actress. She doesn't do a Russian accent at all, but, you know, I can forgive that. I watched The Hunt for Red October and didn't care about Sean Connery through the entire thing. But I'm not sure that the love story was right for this movie. But it's still pretty good. I'm going to give it, like, a shot at Kraken because it's a little slow because the love story breaks it up. The sniper duel parts are amazing. Like, when it's at the meat of the story, it's good. It's got some good tension. Ed Harris plays the German sniper who goes after him, and he's great in it. Bob Hoskins plays Nikita Khrushchev, who's really good in it.
Oh, I bet he's amazing in that role.
Yeah, he's pretty good. It's got a lot of really good points. It also has the most awkward sex scene I've ever seen in a movie.
Who's blanking at that point?
Well, it's Rachel Weisz and Jude Law, who's the main character, and they're doing it sort of in the barracks, and it's at the point where I fast forward to it because it's that awkward. You're like, why did you put this in? I mean, I know that this didn't need to be in. Yeah. There's a scene later on that sort of covers this theme, and you could have appropriated something like that. You could have done a Captain Kirk boots scene. You know the Captain Kirk boots scene? You never see Captain Kirk have sex. You see him with the woman, and then they're getting out of bed, and he's putting his boots on. That's, you know, in the annotated chronicles from Dragonlance, Hickman and Weiss say that's all they ever need from a sex scene is the boots, the Captain Kirk boots scene, and it's true. Because it gets the point across. You don't need to see any of that. That way you avoid slightly awkward.
When that movie was put out, that, though, was a trope almost in that time frame, was the superfluous sex scene because they felt like they could get away with it, and a lot of directors were doing it just because they could.
Well, and look at something like, let's say, Top Gun. Top Gun, the sex scene is sexy. You're like, oh, cool, I'm watching this. This is cool. This isn't. It's awkward. You're like, I feel uncomfortable watching this.
It makes you. I mean, in Top Gun, it actually convinces that Tom Cruise might be straight.
Yeah, there you go. But this one is just like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it does what the director wants it to do.
It does not do. That sex is not doing what you think it does.
No. And to be fair, that it shows, now apparently, I'd have to see real war films to know for sure. And I like to see historical, films based on historical events and research them to see how true they are. Because it starts off with basically, them sending a bunch of soldiers forward, and then anyone who retreats, they gun down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, apparently, that's not exactly what happened, but apparently there's a kernel of truth in it. So I'd like to learn about that. But back to the movie, One Shot of Kraken, it's a pretty good view. I suggest watching it.
Yep.
I actually got it on a double feature DVD, where the second feature is Uncommon Valor with Gene Hackman and Patrick Swayze, and that's a pretty good flick too. Another slow flick, but pretty good. Vietnam War rescuing POWs flick.
Can't go wrong with that. I watched Alien vs. Predator with my son, my 12-year-old.
Condolences.
What's that?
My condolences.
Yeah, there are worse movies. I could have showed him Alien 3.
Oh, hold on. Worst movies? You mean like the Turkish Star Wars, which I found while I was moving?
Shut the fuck up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have to announce this right now. There will be a Brushhead meetup at the at Warmachine Weekend, and we will be showing Turkish Star Wars at the Brushhead meetup. John didn't even know that until now. I didn't know it until just now.
Why do we hate Brushheads like that?
We are going to be viewing Turkish Star Wars. There will be Kraken involved, all free. I'm going to be providing the Kraken. And we are going to be at Warmachine Weekend. So if you can find us, and it's like the A-Team, and you can afford us, then
you can find us.
Then
you can hire. Anything with my John.
Yep. And so we'll be having that. And woot, what the fuck barbecue? Yes, indeed. Yep. So I just invited, I think, basically 1,100 people to my room at Warmachine Weekend. So we'll see how that all works out as far as planning is concerned. But we'll be watching Turkish Star Wars. So come at your own risk. Also, I've heard some talk about me approaching Carl for a hardcore casual corner at Warmachine Weekend. I have not explored that yet. I think it'd be a great idea. I'm playing in the Last Chance qualifier because I like getting kicked in the balls, and but maybe we'll see what happens. So keep that in mind, and get Kraken to sponsor it. Yeah, because they've heard of me. Anyway, John, we're calling this a show, I think.
Yeah, 2 force blows.
Yeah,
maybe too much for one podcast.
Let me tell you about how many soul collectors I had last show. So that and force blows are easier. So on behalf of my slightly tipsy co-host, John Spencer, I'm Menoth John. 1,100 nerds is a lot of nerds, John. It is a lot of fucking nerds.
Yes,
there's no two ways about that. I'd like to thank Arcadan for being back in the chat room, and Tad Go for being himself. And I'd like to give Tad Go's wife my condolences. Although she seems like a goofball, she seems super fun. She seems like a great lady. So, on behalf of myself, these 2 games of High Command back here that I've never played, I'd like to, and also I want to shout out to anybody who's ever played Warmachine Tactics, because you deserve a medal. Anyway, so there you go. I'm Menoth John. He's John Spencer. Go fuck yourself. Good night.